Move to Texas, they said. It'll be great, they said. Well, in my case, I moved down to Texas 20 years ago. I had 3 days to get ready for the move, and away I went. If only I would have known a few things before I got here, it would have made my transition a whole lot easier. I'm going to go through 10 things today that I wish I knew before I moved to Texas. Stay tuned because number 2 like to kill me. But let's start with number 10. SUVs and trucks. Well, where I came from, a lot of people drove cars, minivans, that type thing. When I got to Texas, that's not the preferred vehicle. I was actually sent to Texas in a company minivan, and I stuck out like a sore thumb. I had to beg my company for 2 years to finally get me a truck so that I looked like a native and could blend in. But here, most families, instead of opting to the minivan side, you're going to see big Suburbans, SUVs, Yukons, that type vehicle. But it also means parking lots are bigger, parking spaces are bigger, and yeah, you may have to walk a little further to find something, but in Texas, SUVs and trucks are the preferred mode of transportation for the family. Number 9, I always knew it was hot in Texas, but I didn't know that the Texas weather had this kind of violent mood swings Texas weather seems to have in the spring, fall, and winter. Last year, I'm sure you heard, Texas had a week long of sub-zero temperatures, which is unheard of. Like I said, I've been here for 20 years. That was the first time I remember it snowing and not being gone by noon. And it stayed for a week. But like I say, the violent mood swings in the Texas weather, we go from 80s one day, 20s the next, back to the 80s, back to the 20s. Then we hit a few days of the 50s. Then we're in the 80s. Then we're in the 20s. And it's just kind of hard to predict. I've probably lost more coats than anyone I know. Number 8, Texas, it seems like everywhere you go is fast. Now, I'm going to get some pushback. I'm going to hear people talk about I-35. I get it, and I'll go through that here in just a minute. But you've got to understand, in Texas, a lot of the 2-lane roads have a 75-mile-an-hour speed limit. Like I said, let me discuss I-35 and the talk of speed. But just know everyone here likes to go fast unless they get on I-35. And I'm convinced that once they add a 3rd lane, the slow lane is the center lane. And that center lane is full of people who are scared of the speed. Speed restriction in the form of what I call pace vehicles, because they keep everybody about the speed limit because the people in the middle lane are clogging everything. But out on the 2-lane roads, it's fast. And oh, by the way, if you're new to Texas and someone comes up behind you and they're flashing their lights at you, it's probably not an emergency. They just want you to slide over, get out of the way, let them pass, and get back. On the 2-lane roads, there's a lot of hills, a lot of curves. You can't always get around people. But I found that Texans are very friendly. They will slide out of your way, let you pass, and slide back over. Now, as a common courtesy, though, if someone does that for you, push the little button on the dash and turn your flashers on just as a way to wave howdy, thank you, and go on about your day. Number 7, bugs. Yeah, there's bugs everywhere you go. And they're going to tell you, you hear mosquitoes are bad in Texas. Well, let me tell you, I've been to Canada. Mosquitoes are bad in Canada. I've been to the Northeast. Mosquitoes are bad in the Northeast. I've been to California. Mosquitoes are bad in California. Texas has mosquitoes too. But Texas has something I wasn't ready for. Coming from the Midwest, went outside of my house, went to plant some flowers, working la-di-da-di-da. Next thing I know, my whole hand is on fire. I look down and there's just ants everywhere. I had never experienced fire ants. And the only way I found to get rid of them is to go to a water hose as fast as you can and just start running water. And it's going to burn, and it's going to hurt, and it's going to sting. But run water to get rid of the fire ants. The other insect that I wasn't ready for were crickets. Yeah, I know. Crickets are just about everywhere too. But I wasn't ready for, in the fall of the year, to walk into my place of work. It was a block building. And there were just hundreds upon hundreds of black crickets everywhere on a regular basis in the fall of the year. It's almost so bad you think that the Bible has done thrown down the plague of crickets on us. But there are crickets everywhere. Hi, this is Anthony. Forgot to introduce myself. Just wanted to let you know I'm a real estate agent here in Waco. If you like this content, please consider clicking the subscribe or the little bell to get notified. And if you've experienced something since moving to Texas, let me know what it is if I've not included it on this list. I'd like to add it to another video in the future. Number 6, utilities. In Texas, we have the power to choose in most parts of the state. Most parts of the state use the delivery system is Encore, or some other parts of the state it's a co-op, and that's a little different. Encore then says, okay, this is how much the power cost. And then another company can come in and basically bill you for that electricity. And there are hundreds of companies, there are hundreds of plans. There are websites that you can go to. I know of at least three. There's big companies that will offer you rebates if you sign up with them. However, their rates are a little higher. So if you do the math, you get the cash up front, but then you pay more throughout the year. There are discount companies that come and go. Next thing you know, they're out of business and somebody else is billing you and your contract's no longer available. So be very careful with the utilities here. Understand that you do have the power to choose. And if you go onto these websites, there are ratings that tell you about each company and kind of how they work. And someday I'll probably put together a video on nothing more than how to choose your utility company in Texas, because like I say, it can be a very confusing task. Number 5, and we're getting to the one I was telling you about that like to kill me. That's number 2. But number 5 are taxes. Yes, I know we pay taxes all over the United States. And everybody goes, oh my gosh, we pay way more than we should in property taxes. Very well could be true. But just know property taxes is where Texas raises a good portion of its revenue, and you're going to hear everyone in Texas complain about those taxes. Number 4, construction. I live in Waco along I-35, and let me tell you, it is construction season on that interstate. It seems like forever. Ever since I moved to Texas, when I originally moved here, I lived in the Austin area. They redid all of Austin and the roads around Austin. I moved to Waco. It seems like they've done I-35 all the way to Waco. They've done I-35 from Dallas down to Waco. I jump over to go to Houston. I get on I-45. It's under construction. I jump over to I-10. It's under construction. Texas just keeps building roads, makes them bigger and bigger and bigger so we can go faster and faster and faster. Remember the point before. And the more lanes we add, it seems like more people get scared and just keep moving over a lane or two and just keep driving slower and slower on the interstate. And there's construction just about everywhere that you look. So be ready, be prepared, map your routes, figure out ways to go without being on the major highways, and you can get on those 2-lane roads and go as fast as you want. Construction, knowing where they're going to build next, I guess is what I should say, because it just keeps growing and growing and growing. Because, hey, everybody wants to move to Texas, right? Number 3, tornadoes. Yes, Texas sits in Tornado Alley, and just about every storm we have in the springtime comes with a tornado watch and tornado warning. There are tornadoes that you hear hitting around, and I guess because of the expanse of Texas and how big we are, close, I guess, within 60, 70, 80, 100 miles any direction from us. A lot of the big damage, though, from the tornadoes, I haven't heard much in Texas in the 20 years that I've been here. Not like the tornadoes that seem to rip through certain areas of Oklahoma all the time, or like the one that went through Kentucky last December. We probably get more hailstorms than tornadoes here in Central Texas. Number 2, I know this is the one you've been waiting on. It's the one that like to kill me. But allergies. I did not have allergies until I moved to Texas. And there's a certain thing in Texas that seems to be a lot higher here than where I was from in Illinois and other parts of the country that I've traveled to, and that's the cedar. Eyes will swell shut, nose will run. The last couple years with COVID going on, oh my goodness, because the cedar would come in, you'd stuff up, you'd sneeze. Everyone would look at you like, why aren't you quarantined and why aren't you at home? Because they were confusing all those COVID symptoms. But the cedar allergies in Texas like to killed me. So if you've not had allergies in the past and you move to Texas and something starts going on, you might want to get with a medical professional and say, hey, I think the cedar here might be bothering me, and they'll know exactly what you're talking about. And number 1, the one thing that you've got to get ready for when you move to Texas, and that's Texas pride. There is 2 places to live and 2 places to be from. You're either from Texas or you're not. Period. End of story. I was lucky to move down here 20 years ago. I have a Western Kentucky accent, so they think I'm from East Texas, so I don't get asked a lot where I'm from. But if you just blend in, act like you've been here forever, and just act like Texas is the only state in the universe, you'll fit in just fine. So remember, there's Texas and there's everywhere else, and you'll be okay. If you like this content, why don't you check out this video here on why I love living in Waco? And I look forward to bringing you content like this on a weekly basis.